Alright everybody, we are live on Facebook. This is our Rogue One review. We just came back from seeing it. And this is Rants with Rob and Jay. I'm Rob. And with us today we've got Earl, Stan, Jeff, and off camera we got Jay and Trina. But you'll be able to hear them really well because they're right next to the phone. You'll probably be able to hear them better than the rest of us. And Jay had a suggestion that we play this video as a means of introducing our subject matter. And this video can be found on YouTube. It is called Death Star Architect Speaks Out, which we think is oddly relevant to the film we're about to review. So stand by here.
Hey guys, it's me, the architect behind the exhaust ports on the Death Star. Hey-o. What a stupid design flaw. You're single-handedly responsible for the destruction of our ultimate weapon. I've heard it all. I've gotten a lot of guff from my superiors since the Death Star blew up about my shoddy design. I've been force choked, force lightninged, regular choked more times than I can count, and all I can say in my defense is, are you f***ing serious? I mean, do you understand the point of exhaust ports? Do you know how much exhaust is created by a moon-sized battle station? It housed a laser that blew up planets. It needs a lot of ventilation. The fact that I was able to keep the exhaust ports to the size of a womp rat should earn me some goddamn respect around here. But let's talk about what actually happened. So Farm Boy Nobody shoots some bombs out of his X-Wing straight ahead, and they take a 90-degree turn downward and go exactly into the tiny exhaust port. They then travel miles in an insanely narrow pipe and hit the
Jay was thinking about this the whole time
Anything
watching the movie.
seem weird to you about that? First of all, exhaust doesn't mean sucked down. It means pushed out. That's what it is. Expelling gas.
Of course, they can't see any of this, by the way.
And
in a direction that would suck down a
Yeah.
bomb. If
So we
anything,
could probably-
I should have pushed the bomb away. Wait, how did the bomb behave in a way that completely defies physics? Oh, I don't know. Oh, right. We live in a galaxy with magic space wizards. But
Okay.
yeah, all the magic
Alright,
space
We're
so-
gonna back it off there.
Oh, yeah, you're
Now,
So-
that was posted by Dorkly on YouTube. And Jay suggested on the way home that we have a question and answer session that he and Trina, who of course you can't see on camera, and I do apologize for this, by the way. It's on the phone, and you might not be able to hear us very well. Please, by all means, hit us up on Facebook, Rants Podcast. Hit us up on Twitter. I'll be happy to answer any questions. Some of you out there wanted to call in. When I post this on YouTube, it's actually a little better because we got a better camera over there recording us. All of us will be in the shot. But for right now, this is the technical stuff we're stuck with. And we're going to do, I guess I'm moderating a little bit of a question and answer panel here to our guys over here, our geek experts, Stan, Earl, and Jeff, who arguably are way geekier than I am even, and I'm like master geek around here usually. And so, that being said, we're going to move on to the first question. Jay said he had the first question for you guys, and what I'll do is I'll take a question from Jay, or I'll take a question from Trina, and then I'll pose it to one of you three. And if any of you three can't answer it or want to elaborate, then we'll go to the next one. So, Jay, by all means, tell us your first question about Rogue One, a Star Wars story.
First off, yes, I was thinking about this video because we purposely created that port, the exhaust port. Why would he do it as an exhaust port?
Meaning, why exhaust?
Yeah.
Well, I think the video pretty much covered that one. I think because it expels waste. But anyway, Earl's shaking his head. Go ahead.
No, if you actually listen to what he said he created a weakness in the system.
Uh-huh.
The exhaust port necessarily wasn't specified. They didn't determine that exhaust port was the best way to get to the core until they looked at the plans that were in A New Hope.
He's right.
And that's why you're our professional nerds in the show. Those little details.
Anybody else want to elaborate on that one? I think Earl nailed it.
Yeah.
Right.
All right, Trina, now Jay said you were a little concerned about asking us a question that we might be offended. I guarantee you if you ask us any question you want about this stuff, we're going to geek out so bad, we'll just be happy that you asked. So whatever it is.
Well, I don't know really anything about Star Wars. The only
Okay.
thing, I mean, I've seen the original Star Wars movie.
Yeah.
So that's really all I have to, like, compare everything to. One of the first things I saw was the Stormtrooper doll.
Right.
At the beginning. And I was wondering why she would be playing with a Stormtrooper doll.
Jeff, you want to try that one?
What?
Yeah, I noticed this shot too. When I was looking at the magazines, I saw the Death Trooper holding the white stormtrooper doll in one of the pictures, and I even thought that's a little weird.
I don't.
Okay.
He was working for the Empire, so most of her stuff came from that particular thing. And when they took off from the Empire, left the Empire, she just brought everything she had, which happened to be a stormtrooper doll.
Think about the
That's
big propaganda machine that the in that world the Empire realm was.
It's like the Third Reich.
Yeah.
Okay.
All right. Well, pretty straightforward answer. All right.
I guess I just thought it was interesting because they were coming to take him and his family, so I thought it was odd that she would have a toy of the enemy.
That's what the Empire does, right? Like even if you're in their employment, if you're a part of them, there's always the fear factor, right? And it's always the propaganda of like you need to be suited up and have everything aligned with the Empire. There can be no trace of rebellion or resistance. So.
Well, when they blew up that particular city, they wanted to make sure that it got out that it was a mining accident. They didn't want people to think that they had taken another step beyond what it was in the movie a few times. They said, we don't want people to
know about the Death
what's his
Star.
name specifically said you're confusing peace with power or fear by the building of this Death Star. So they didn't want people to know they built something that could decimate. Now, when I always thought of the Death Star, I never thought of it as just destroy a particular area. I just figured it would destroy planets. But seeing it specifically target a wide area and not destroy a whole planet, that was kind of a cool take on the Death Star. I like that.
Yeah.
It's a symbol of power.
Well, then they made the point also to say that basically level 1, like hit them with level 1, just to make that point that it's and it also because we know it destroys the whole planet.
Yeah.
That to see those guys go, oh crap, it destroyed a whole city, and they have no idea what's coming. And of course, Bail Organa, played by Jimmy Smith, saying, "I need to go back to Alderaan and check in." Well, guess what? We're not seeing you in the sequel. See you later. I knew that was coming. So Jay.
So I have a whole bunch of follow-up questions just to what you guys
Just to what
just
I just
said,
said.
both of you. But I want to go to now with Rogue One. For some, she said she's just seen the first one, and what brought up this whole panel thing is like explain the timeline and like the general premise of the movie first.
Actually, this goes to what him and I were just talking about a little while ago. I felt that this particular movie made me feel like I was watching an extended edition of A New Hope, because it literally flowed flawlessly into how like I could go watch The New Hope and you'd see that ship that left at the end moving on into the next thing.
So
That's
the
how-
way I look at it practically,
Hang on. Granted, would you say this is like 5 years before The New Hope? 10
no,
years?
we're talking.
Oh, God,
we're talking.
weeks.
We're talking
Yeah,
weeks.
days.
Like hours.
And that's-
Days.
Actually,
that's-
like coming out of hyperspace.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The Death Star is behind that ship,
Yeah.
lighting it up before Vader boards.
And then they tried to say, we are, and he says, no, you're not. We know you have the plans.
Yeah.
That's him saying, I watched you take off with the plans. Because
Yeah.
that's why you're standing at the
So literally, you could literally watch Rogue One, in theory, and watch New Hope very seamlessly.
Or you could splice them in together and make one big movie out of it. You wouldn't, other than the film editing.
yeah.
But yeah, it was the most
age of the
flawless.
film, but-
yeah, it was beautifully done. What's the next question? Go ahead.
Trina, it's your turn.
Oh, okay. Okay, so one thing that caught my eye that I thought was interesting, though, that was when I kind of turned to him and I was like, me saying this, they're going to be like, that's kind of dumb. But
No, go ahead.
my first thought was when I saw Lawrence Fishburne. With
You mean Forrest Whitaker?
Forrest Whitaker.
Sorry.
I was like, whoa.
Where did I get?
I was going
I was going to make a comment there, but
I know,
no,
yeah.
I don't know where I got.
I'll go let her finish.
apparently.
Forrest Whitaker, thank you.
Gotcha.
I knew exactly who I was talking
Oscar
about.
winner, close enough.
Whatever.
James Earl Jones.
With his breathing machine, I was like, that's Darth Vader. That was my first thought.
And now I will expand on that a little bit. Saw Gerrera is actually a character from the Clone Wars cartoon. He trained with Anakin rather trained him as like a guerrilla fighter. Anakin, I think Obi-Wan went to that planet wherever, and his Guerrera's sister got killed, and he became against the Separatists. I guess he was leading an army against the Separatists. So he's been fighting for like a generation. Like, he's been jacked up for umpteen years, and I saw him as the ultimate sci-fi PTSD example I've ever seen. Just absolutely insane. And I kind of was hoping they wouldn't kill him off so quick. Again, and I posted this on the thing. It's spoilers, by the way. We're going to be talking about all kinds of specifics. Jeff, sounds like you got something.
Well, to add to that, with the comic book line that Disney put out about Star Wars, they've literally gone down each almost individual. Darth Vader's got his own. Boba Fett's got his own. The talk is that they're going to take these comics and they're going to spawn off a ton of different standalone movies. So he might actually get one if
Do Vader or
no,
Saw,
yeah.
Just another chronicle of the Clone
Right,
Wars,
because
right?
they literally there's this talk out there of that specifically happened, and it would make sense because the comic books have gone that direction. Yoda's got his. I mean, literally, all these people that we grew up with have now got standalones, not just a group effort anymore. It's a whole thing.
Well, let's be honest. I mean, George left us pretty vague with his movies, right? Like there was all these, well, why is this, and how come the little green guy is such a badass, and then why does everyone bow to him? You have endless storytelling, and that equates to money. So for comic books, for movies, I mean. And nowadays we have the ability to put this on screen to look like what we just watched. I mean,
So that brings me to my next question: is that you saw Jimmy Smits in The Rebellion, but in the last 3 movies, or I guess the very first 3 movies, whatever, he was Boba Fett's father.
Whoa, say that again?
No.
So what was he in?
No.
the other?
Jimmy Smits was not Boba Fett's father.
Yeah,
Leia's
Step-adopted.
You're talking about the actor in himself, right?
Yeah, I saw Jimmy
that-
Smits.
No, the guy. That's a
different
different
guy.
actor. Different guy.
I'm trying to think of another movie. he's been
Actually,
in.
pull it.
Yeah, I'll pull it up.
It's a completely different guy. I see what you're thinking,
Yeah.
but you're off by.
They're a similar.
But
New
he was
Zealand
there
kind
because
of-
One's more
but
Islander,
Boba
the
Fett
other.
was Jimmy Smits' son.
No.
and
No.
That's Jango
we
Fett.
know what you're-
Jango Fett's
we know what you're
son.
talking
Yeah.
about. But
Okay.
you're thinking of the wrong person.
Yeah.
Which Mace Windu took his.
Jimmy Smits played
So
Bail
shady.
Organa, who took Leia after Padme died.
Right.
And Jango Fett is the guy they made the clones from. And that's Boba Fett's dad.
Okay.
There it is.
And yeah, that's him.
To the right a little more, you can
Yeah,
see his
I'll
face.
just bring up the images.
Right, but who played him in the movies?
Django?
Yeah,
I don't
there's-
remember his name.
It's like
Back
Tao
out.
or Tay.
Back out.
Who was that?
We got a visitor.
I don't know. Who was that?
Hello.
Hey man.
Hey! Our ultimate Star Wars nerd just
Yes.
walked
One
in.
of them.
We just started,
We got
so
an
you're going to be
SME
part of
coming
the
Yes.
One of them.
panel. You're going to be part of
him.
the panel.
Yeah.
It's
Okay.
a different actor.
It
It
is.
does
Okay.
look like him though.
Yeah.
No. That's why we
It
should
does,
see
but
what you're
no,
saying.
he was in the movie, and Jimmy Smits were both in the movie. So
Correct.
Yeah,
I haven't
that's true.
seen those movies for so long. It just
Well, they're not really worth
Well,
watching.
and
though.
if anyone
really
looks
are.
like them, it would be the clones.
Do you have a freezer down here?
I do not.
Freezer.
Freezer.
Misty wanted me to send along homemade peppermint ice cream.
What?
Actually, that would be the freezer up in the
fantastic.
kitchen. Would be the best thing to do.
right.
The one in the garage is unreliable.
Yeah.
Yeah. Are we still Are we still?
We're live, but there might be a sound problem.
go.
Our buddy Beth has mentioned that she can't hear us. Speak up, Darth music.
Who is that?
That's from Jamie.
Jamie's watching.
Yeah, I think Beth, if you can, I don't know, you probably can't hear us, but you have to click on it and play it. Jamie, is it working? Can you hear us? He's just saying speak up, apparently. I was not able to get a microphone for the phone. Hopefully the next time we do this, I'll actually be able to use the computer to do this. But I am recording on the computer, so when I post this on YouTube later, it will sound a whole hell of a lot better. Plus, we're, of course, recording on our track as well. But yeah, Jamie said for Jeff to speak up. The phone and not great. Plus, I think that
from Star Trek.
he's being a smartass.
Kuna? Oh, he is. Yeah.
yeah.
All right, so we just got joined by Mick. By all means, Mick, have a seat.
Hello.
We are technically live, although I don't know how well it's working, but we are recording from that camera over there, and which I'll be able to post later no matter what happens. Because as you can see, it's a little better of a wide angle from the other camera. But we are doing a bit of a panel discussion. Jay had mentioned on the way home that he had a bunch of questions. Our first question was, what the fuck's up with the exhaust port? And, yeah, and of course we watched this silly little video about
And why
the
would
guy
they build an exhaust port?
Right.
Right.
And of course now in Rogue One we know why.
It's good, huh?
Because he
That
built
is
it on purpose.
Belizean rum.
Yes.
So just to kind of backtrack a little bit, Earl defended the literal translation of the movie, saying he put it in there on purpose, and that was the deal. Of course, then the next joke in the little video we watched was, "Hey, when we make the next one, should we make the hole as big as the Millennium Falcon?" So I wondered if you had any inputs on this.
Not on
No.
that particular point, no.
Not at that
I
point.
thought it was they did a good job of kind of filling in a lot of holes in previous plot lines.
Uh-oh.
Pun intended. Pun intended. Why is there? Do you got something?
Well, I have a lot of holes.
Yeah. Well, that's true.
Yeah, that's true.
Oh, Claudia says hello.
Oh, she says, hi, hubby.
She says, wave at the phone. I think there might be a bit of a lag.
There is a huge lag.
Yeah, because you can see from here, although that might just be because,
Mine hasn't even walked in yet.
well, yeah, exactly. That and the fact that it's catching up with itself, so
It's buffering.
it's buffering. So they're going to be a little behind us anyway.
Well, what was the next question you had?
Yes,
it's-
Trina, I think it's your turn.
Okay, so the original Star Wars movie. The original Star
No,
Wars
somebody's
movie.
phone.
Oh, it's not me.
It's you.
It's not me.
What?
Your phone's
it.
causing that.
Yeah, that's why I wear the earphones, so I can hear when anybody messes with the sound. But go ahead, I'm sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt you.
It's okay. So the original Star Wars movie, which is the only one I've really seen, where does that play in regards to this movie, and what is Jen's role in the future?
There's none.
So that was.
Mick, go ahead. You haven't had answered one yet, so go ahead.
Did you
Tonight?
watch the
Yes.
movie tonight?
We just came from there.
So I was kind of hoping that Jyn Erso would maybe turn up and flop forward and show up in maybe 8 as possibly like, hey, another hero of the Republic. Maybe she hooked up with Luke. Maybe that's, Rey's mother or something.
They're about the
That's
right
the-
age.
Because
That's
it
the
seems
rumor.
like she
That's
would
the
have
rumor.
some kind of pivotal role in the future.
It seemed feasible, but
Except
I
for being
kind of.
engulfed by a nuclear
After
blast.
watching-
Exactly, I kinda
But
figured
not-
she was
she
dead,
doesn't have
so-
nothing.
And they pretty much, and that was kind of another part of it. If you think of it that way, that's kind of the beauty of it. Is it's really a completely standalone movie. It fills in some holes in other movies, but it really doesn't affect as far as any characters from this movie are all killed.
What are you doing?
So they don't go.
So
forward
the
and
original
show
Star
further.
Wars movie, where does that lie with this movie?
That-
Like, is in the timeline.
it's 3.5 if you really want to call it something.
So it's immediately prior to,
New Hope.
right,
Okay.
which is the
Like
first Star Wars.
Which is
prior.
the old
Right.
school, like
Yeah.
the original.
The
Star
original
Wars
very first episode 4.
is like
What
right
people
after this.
used to call
Yes.
Star Wars
Okay.
now call A New Hope.
And I think,
Right.
didn't Leia say, like, a lot of good people died getting
Yeah.
this information?
Yeah, she did.
Well, technically, she
She
makes
did.
that statement in Jedi.
2.
She's like,
Yes.
she makes that very statement that Mon Mothma. That's another interesting thing that they hired an actress that looks so much like the original.
Yes.
I was like,
Was that
is
actress or
not
was that
her.
CGI?
No,
CGI.
that was actress.
Really?
Tarkin was
Was CGI.
Yeah.
And Leia.
And
Oh,
Because
oh.
there's no way that was
So
her.
since we're getting there,
Because Peter
Yeah.
Cushing
so
died in
was
94.
Gold
Right,
Leader.
right.
So was.
oh wait, I saw them
She
too.
looks
So
much
was
like
the
her. I
Red
was like,
Leader.
what?
All
Right.
those guys were CGI from New Hope,
Right.
and I loved it.
Yeah.
Where the fuck was Biggs?
Yeah, hey,
Actually, I had
He's
that in
still
my
at
notes.
Tashi
Hey,
Station.
he
He's
couldn't
still in
get off the
Tashi
ground.
Station. Remember,
He's mentioned.
he's in Tashi Station.
Visiting Luke.
Right.
That's right, because he shows up in the scene that's cut from Star Wars. He does show up there. You're absolutely right. Actually, anybody who wants the real definitive version of the Star Wars first 3 films, go listen to the radio dramas. Actually, they have a lot more detail in them. I think they're my favorite versions of the original films. But by that being said, okay, where was Wedge then? I was kind of hoping Wedge would
Well,
show
Wedge
up.
is Captain Antilles. He was behind the
No,
door.
Captain Antilles is his dad.
Okay.
Captain Antilles
True.
is the one who was captaining the Bale's ship. What's it called? The name escaped me suddenly. The blockade runner. Which,
Right.
What the
The
fuck?
Hammerhead?
The Hammerhead. No, the Hammerhead was the one that drifted the ship into the other one.
Right.
Which I thought that was that too. I was like, what are they calling it? The Hammerhead?
The blockade runner is the one that Leia was in.
Of course, they had to have the one scene where C-3PO is like a little bitch complaining. Nobody tells me anything. Did you catch that?
Yeah, but that's C-3PO
Of course,
too,
that's
so
C-3PO.
that's why it fits.
You know, okay. Before we get into degrade into our random shit,
Yeah, we digress.
Jay, what's your next question?
Well, I'm going to go with, I got some qualifiers here. So originally I thought, I watched a lot of Big Bang Theory, and when they debunked the Indiana Jones thing, they could have
Oh, when
done the entire
Sarah
arc.
Fowler.
Yeah.
Indiana Jones is inconsequential to the plot.
I kind of thought that for like half the movie, because I was like, the rebellion did not accept her message. They actually broke up. Whatever. Vader showed up and just killed everybody anyway, and just took the fucking plans.
So nice to see Vader as a badass. It really was.
It kind of was, but it kind of wasn't, because
You gotta remember he's crippled.
I'm gonna preface that a little bit in a second, because they could do it. They could figure out the port thing, the plans, without the entire plans or whatever. Even if they didn't get them, they could figure out the plans and the porthole and the exhaust and all that shit. But here was the clincher. Fire when ready. They destroyed an entire planet in this movie before they destroyed Alderaan in the first Star Wars.
They didn't destroy an entire planet in this movie.
No.
They did.
No, they didn't.
They actually did. He said, "Fire when ready." The colonel or whatever his name is,
Tarkin.
Yeah, he said, "Fire when ready"
Yeah.
on the planet, right towards the very end. And I'm like, wasn't the first shot to a planet Alderaan not the planet they were on getting the plans from?
Okay, I will answer this one.
Okay.
They make the point in this that basically shoot at level 1. I don't remember what they called it. They called it something. But basically level 1 is all they went up to, which would destroy a mountain or destroy a city.
Testing it. They were testing it.
They were testing it. Whereas when Tarkin had Leia on the Death Star, he says it's time to see this at its full power. This is what can it do at its full power.
Right.
And frankly, I've always thought, even as a kid, that they were a little surprised it was that powerful. Like, oh, we blew up a whole planet. Let's just act like we meant to do that on purpose. You know, that kind of thing. But I think I see what you're saying. But they didn't actually blow up the entire planet right there.
That leads me to
But
one
that's
thing, though.
that's where they destroyed her and, getting the plans and all these people that
On
were
Scarif.
on that planet, on Scarif, right then, towards the end of the million.
But the planet was not destroyed.
Just that area was.
Yeah.
Listen,
Just like
They
when they
just
fired
targeted
Jeddah.
us.
insurance
Go ahead.
companies won't allow you go full blast, man. So
They
recognize
go into
little
it.
at a time.
Steve Stan?
Ryan.
Right, Ryan
How many
tonight.
names do you have, fucker?
Well, tonight he's Ryan.
Yeah.
Okay.
You move like a ninja. You know? So, what kind of shocked me about this is that the Senate is still intact, because they made reference to it,
Yeah.
and the fact that they only went after the city because they still have to have the Senate on board, and they don't want them going over to be rebellious planets that are falling out of the Senate. So, like, in A New Hope, they're fucking murking planets. You know what I mean? Like, so where are we at there to where the Senate dissolves and all of a sudden now the Empire's like, fuck you guys.
It's right there. It happened. I bet you
I mean, was that
anything.
that moment?
It was probably that moment because enough people went to hyperspace towards the end. They saw what happened. Now the news is getting out. Now those senators that were in the shadows are like, oh fuck, this is for real. It's time to play.
Because she even says, I broadcasted it to the entire galaxy. Like, she
Right.
told everybody. But you're right. I kind of wish, had we watched this earlier in the day, that we'd have come back and watched A New Hope right after, just so we could kind of tie all these things together. But I've seen it. I know you guys have seen it plenty of times just to make that connection anyway. But, yeah, I think what you're saying, I don't think the entire planet got destroyed. I think it was devastated. Like, not a living person can live on that rock anymore.
He said the line, but they never cut back to the planet. It was all
Right.
Starship,
And it was
stuff.
a volcanic eruption basically to space.
Just like on Jeddah.
Yeah, exactly.
It was a mining incident, is what they like to say.
Mining.
Well, that was that was the thing in Jeddah,
Industrial
but they didn't explain. He just said, fire when ready, and you never saw that planet, or you never saw any of the characters that were on that planet ever again. And that's when, like, they destroyed a planet before they
Didn't you say
destroyed.
just target the base of the.
Right, they did.
Yeah.
Because both Jeddah and Scarif, too, they were much closer, whereas Alderaan, weren't they, like, I got the impression from A New Hope that they were a great distance away from Alderaan when they targeted that and blew
Right.
it up.
I just
we
wrote
don't know
down.
what this
I just
thing's
wrote
gonna
down
do. Let's back up a
the
little bit.
If they
line
were to blow
fire
up the
when
planet, they
when
would have
ready.
said just blow up the planet. They specifically said the city.
At that point, it might have needed exhaust pipes, right? Like, and bolted the fuck out of Dodge.
Right.
Yeah. What I actually was kind of hoping to see, because they alluded to it in the first Star Wars film, that the battle station was mobile. and they even make the comment, "Hey, let's go to light speed and go to Scarif or whatever they were going." I would like to see the Death Star actually enter and leave hyperspace. I was kind of waiting for that.
I liked it. I felt the same way.
But I will say that the U-wing fighter, I have a little toy in the case in there, U-wing fighter, and I wasn't really impressed with the design until I saw it. Until I saw how they used it. It's almost like a combat dropship.
Yeah.
You know, like a small tactical dropship.
Were those I don't know what you
That was the ship that they used to when Jen Arso and the captain guy, they went in.
The wing that comes way out.
Oh, okay.
That
Right,
thing,
okay.
the 4 engines, yeah.
Yeah.
It's like,
And then it closes up.
Yeah,
and
it looks like a bastardized version of a Y-wing fighter and an X-wing fighter.
Right.
Can anybody else explain to me why the Empire loves those big ass fucking swing wing design aircraft? The one that looked like the sea turtles. Honestly cracked me up.
You know what? It's funny that you say sea turtle because that was the image I had in my head.
Yeah.
But it was a badass fucking sea turtle, and I love that fucking design. I liked it. I liked that look. How
Is it the fact that they fold up and so it's supposed to be like an aircraft carrier where like you can fit mass of them?
So it can land on a small spot.
Yeah, like it's, we roll in these big ass destroyer or cruisers, and
which you see toward the end, the actual Imperial shuttle from Jedi, which is again implies that it's Vader's shuttle, like he's the one that started all that. Jeff had something in here I wanted to bring up, and I kind of want to jump on it too. But Trina, did you have another question for us?
Talk about Earl.
Okay. let me preface this for a second.
Why do we always got to talk about Earl?
One of our favorite things about going to these movies, whether it's superhero movies or Star Wars or whatever it is watching Earl react to the film. Now, the funniest thing about this, when we went to see Force Awakens, that was the first time you'd seen it. So his reactions were raw and crazy, and he screamed when Han Solo got stabbed. Like, it was just crazy. This time, though, he'd seen it the night before. He'd seen Rogue One, and apparently, because I couldn't see you from where I was sitting, because I was sitting where everybody Sean, you reacted again.
Yes, you did. You were like pointing at the screen.
Pointing,
He was like, and he pulled out his phone.
Yep.
Right when
almost like he was trying to hit pause.
I saw the ghost.
right when the admiral
Did.
came out.
Somebody's buzzing. Who's buzzing?
It's not me.
Okay.
Is that better?
Yeah, I don't know.
Right when the admiral.
No, it was. I saw me. So there's an Easter egg in there from the Rebels Disney Rebels show.
Right. And I was looking for it, but I
The
guess
ghost.
I missed it.
Yeah, I saw it, but it's real flipping quick.
Where's it at?
Which one?
So when
ghost, the
when
ship.
so after they enter
ghost in
from the
there?
That's
hyperspace,
what he said.
and then it's a shot when you look down at Scarif and all the ships are over here. If you look,
This is when the rebels exited?
they came in,
when
Yeah.
they enter.
and you look down like at the bottom corner, you saw the shape of the ghost.
No shit.
Yeah.
Oh, I missed it. 'Cause
I did too.
Sean and I both went, "Oh, that's cool!" That whole scene.
Yeah,
I-
yeah.
That's a sweet scene.
Yeah, the X-wing worked both in
And
Force
all
Awakens
we
and this.
see is Earl. He's like,
You can't see her, but she's
I love that shit.
Yep, there it is.
Earl had a few of those moments.
and then he's like rocking back and forth. And it was sweet.
Were you there when he screamed out like Chewbacca?
No,
Him and Chewbacca.
well, I
were the only
was,
two
but
people
she wasn't.
screaming.
Oh, in Force Awakens.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I'm looking at him like, oh, what the Chewie, Earl.
Whatever.
So I have,
Both kind of hairy.
I have another question,
What's your question?
and it's just I wanted to. I was wondering why the stormtroopers had 3 different colors.
Stan, you want to hit this one?
I don't know the distinction of the colors.
Well, there's red,
'Cause
which
they
is
have,
Imperial
they have
Guard.
white, and the tan, and the black,
And the
There's
red.
red.
and red. Okay,
Yeah.
so
Red is more Imperial Guard, as if like they're the British standing there all in their dress
Like more- like
reds.
more
But in all
regal.
the original
Imperial
4,
Guard is
5,
red.
like 4, 5, and 6, they wore different uniforms, right? Like,
Well, you had the Scout Troopers, the Snow Troopers, the regular Stormtroopers, and then in Jedi
but
you
the
had
colors,
the Crimson Guard.
the troopers were always white.
They were always white except for the reds.
Right.
Yeah, the Imperial Guard is your
And-
special bodyguards.
Right.
If I might, I did get a chance to go to Disneyland recently, and I got to go to the launch bay.
Yeah.
And they kind of, you get close up and you see the uniforms, and it kind of makes sense. The description of the tank driver, the tan uniform, is specific to that region. Like I forget what they call him exactly, but it's almost like a beach trooper. Like he's intent, and it finally makes sense. I'm so glad to see tactical armor as opposed to the bright white fucking
Right.
ridiculous
yeah,
shit.
because that's
like
all I'm
camouflage.
used to is just seeing
Didn't
the
they
white.
start it in the Clone Wars where they started like
They did.
like
They did.
They did.
the clones and saying, okay, here's
Paint our
designation.
armor.
Yeah, where they were Kashyyyk, they had the camouflage.
Right.
So does that answer your question a little bit? Yeah. Because I agree, the stormtroopers are intended, the basic stormtrooper is intended just to be a shock trooper, just to be visible and
Right.
scare everybody.
Right.
And that kind of leads me into my favorite Stormtrooper design, the Death Troopers.
Mm-hmm.
Holy crap. That is the most awesome design I've seen of a Stormtrooper. Now, leading into that, though, Jeff handed me something here a second ago. You made a comment in here, Jeff, that Vader's wearing his original costume from New Hope. Now, you mean different
Isn't
from
he?
his... Different from his costume in Jedi or
There were
Empire?
some minor differences.
What?
Some of the flashy light deals are not quite the same from the thing.
And did you notice
from
the
New
red
Hope.
tint of the eyes?
Mm-hmm.
That was kind of interesting.
They were red tinted in New Hope also.
Mm.
Because you could see his eyes in the actual New Hope.
I'd have to watch
If
it.
it turned just right, you could see his face in there.
But what I want to mention on that, though, is that I'm so used to seeing David Prowse, the guy who was the original actor inside the suit, the way he moves and the way he stands, that seeing somebody else in the outfit, even though it's James Earl Jones with the voice, the body was wrong. The body moved wrong, it walked wrong, the mannerisms were totally wrong.
Let's be honest,
So-
man. I mean, the old one, like the guy was not a martial artist. He was
No,
not
he was a
athletic.
bodybuilder.
Stiff.
Right,
Yeah.
and it just didn't look right with a lightsaber. I want to see Vader out there fucking it up, man.
Like he did.
So this
He did
this
in
brings
this
me
one.
to the other, like a week ago or so. I was at her house, just doing nothing, and somehow this Star Wars marathon came on, and I watched all 3 of them.
Oh, excellent.
And Hayden Christensen, as much shit as we give him, about being Anakin and whatever, he actually talked almost exactly like Darth Vader in A New Hope. Maybe not so much in
The cadence, you mean?
the cadence, the way he spoke, the very short, maybe 3-4 words, kind of cheesy. He almost actually, if you look at what he did versus the Darth Vader in A New Hope, the way they spoke, it's almost identical. It was almost
you don't really
spot
get
on.
Any, like inquisitive, like Vader makes statements. Right?
Yeah,
You get a blurb, boom. boom.
yeah, he
know
made
where to
like,
stop us this
and
time.
and in this movie, he kind of did like a long-winded 2-sentence rant, type thing, 2 or 3 sentence rant, and I'm like, that's not the Vader I watched last week. That's not the Vader I watched even in, I can't even remember the name of the 3 movies with Hayden Christensen.
Phantom Menace.
Phantom Menace.
Attack
But,
of the Clones.
but even in all that, it was, short, simple, 3-4 words, not 3 sentences. And that's where, like, I think a lot of people gave Hayden Christensen a lot of crap, but he was almost spot on for that.
Well,
Where I think people wanted more than what was actually there.
The other defense I'll give Hayden Christensen is, and I would agree, I'm not the first one to think of it. I've seen other people see it. In fact, my podcast hero, Kevin Smith, said this. Hayden Christensen is exactly what Darth Vader should be in terms of course he's going to be a little bitch. He's going to be a little fucking crybaby bitch that's going to turn into Hitler, basically, because that's what Hitler was, too.
Mm-hmm.
It kind of makes sense that he would be that way. And I think people did give him a lot of shit. I think that the first trilogy, the prequel trilogy would have worked a lot better had they just not had Jar Jar. I think that Jar Jar just made Anakin look worse.
Well, I don't want to get in the whole Jar Jar argument.
Yeah.
It's all...
Ask me later about the prequel theory
Mick's,
I have.
Mick's got some comments about... No, go ahead, Mike.
No.
Go. Hey, this is your first time on the show.
I think we're
Feel
getting
free.
off topic, though.
I'm good. I'm good.
Okay, all right.
All right.
Now I think Jay, it's your turn. Did you have any other questions?
I got a lot of general comments, but not really questions so much anymore.
Well, your comments tend to spark anger and debate, so why don't you go ahead and
Oh,
shoot
God.
one.
My first one was, did anybody else notice the golf course on all the lava rocks in the beginning of the scene? Because that looked to me
Which
like
scene was that?
the very opening scene where they're like just going over, and it's like where they were, the girl and guy was.
Oh, you mean the
living.
Inglorious Bastard scene?
Maybe.
Were
I
they
just saw.
flying over
I just
golf
saw.
course? Is that where Harrison?
I just saw like a lot of lava rocks
was
and then
totally
like
an
green
Inglourious
patches,
Basterds
like perfect
on-
green
on-
patches. I
It
don't know.
wasn't done nearly as well as Inglourious Bastard. I was
Well,
hoping.
of course, yeah.
I haven't seen that one.
Oh, Inglourious Bastard.
I haven't seen it. No.
Oh. Christoph Waltz is fucking fantastic.
Oh.
Yeah, he was.
All right.
Yeah, I've seen bits of that.
So, stormtroopers.
yeah.
Like, just your average soldier guy. And even in the New Hope, when I was watching that last week, there's a scene, right, when Obi-Wan was looking for Darth Vader. It was like 2 stormtroopers over here, and they're just
talking.
They were talking about, being at the bar, like, what is so wrong with the stormtroopers? And what is so wrong with the Empire? I mean, really.
They're
I mean,
bored.
the stormtroopers are just your average guys. Why do we have to kill so many of them? I don't know why. Like, and we do this in all sorts of movies, cartoons, TV shows. But I just feel so bad for the stormtroopers just dying left and right. Like, they're just there. Like,
They're the equivalent of red shirts.
I was gonna say they're the red shirts of Star Wars.
right? But
Where the stormtrooper missed, but the red shirt still died.
Yes.
Yeah.
but what is so wrong with the Empire? I mean, it's just another government system that provides social welfare. I mean, democratic welfare, like whatever. Type
And I'll add
shit
another observation to this. Did you notice when they were in the ship in the prison, like whatever that was, the paddy wagon, when they had her all locked up, and then they stopped, and that stormtroopers is like sitting in the dark, like this, like, oh, this is so fucking boring. We've all been there,
right?
Like, what am I? And then the truck stops. He's like, what the? Why'd we stop? You know,
Well,
kind of pissed off.
Even what's her name in the movie?
Jyn Erso.
Yeah, she turns to the one spy dude. Is like, you might as well just been a stormtrooper. Like, if you're gonna be this bad, like, and I'm like, what's so bad about being a storm? So he's not a glory guy, whatever. What's so bad about it being a stormtrooper?
Anybody else notice anything about the opening scene with what's his name, the main guy? God, I forget his name. Not Krennic, not the bad guy. The good guy, the spy. Yeah, no.
Cat.
The other guy.
Diego.
Yes.
Yeah.
Anybody notice how he just fucking offed his...
So when we were, I thought we were,
Well,
as we were going to go on talking about the movie, that, you know,
we should probably do that.
we can talk about how the fact that the rebellion wasn't so
Squeaky clean.
Yeah,
Yeah.
there's a dark side to it. But think about it. If you think about how the in World War II with the Brits and the Americans and the French, you know, going against, you know, Hitler's regime, they weren't angels doing what they had to do.
Right.
Well,
You had to get the job done.
He was going to slow him down.
Right. Well,
I agree.
He was going to get caught.
Yeah.
It makes
And
perfect sense.
he was going to die
He's a
anyways.
singer.
It's just surprising for a Star Wars film.
Right.
Yeah.
To me, I thought, okay, he's going to die anyways because he's going to get caught. And so he was like, let's just get it over with.
Well, it goes into.
He's going to slow me down and he's going to die.
I think the reason George Lucas, and we talked about this a little bit earlier, like George Lucas is kind of a pussy. I'm just gonna throw it out there. Like he paints the light in the sense that like the rebellion is the squeaky clean, like they do no wrong, right? And the dark side of the Force is all that's bad in the world. And then
It's all black and white.
And then we had the prequels that even solidified that even more, right?
Yeah.
Like. I think this was a clear case of just, no, this is reality. You're at war. You're fighting guerrilla warfare. And it's dirty, man. And you got people that are out there just like our special forces are out there doing some shit that sometimes isn't the most moral, right?
Mick, you look like you had a comment to that. No?
He's right there.
He's absolutely right? Okay.
But who gets to determine what morality is?
The
It's
victors.
It's life and death, right?
Yeah.
History's written by the victors.
Right,
You know, go Empire.
right.
Hey, let me tell you, those fuckers won. I'd be the first one raising that flag. Okay, go.
So
So,
And I didn't mean to offend anyone if I called Lucas a pussy, but this is,
he was a pussy.
No,
so.
but we're
Not
gonna, you know,
necessarily
later.
pussy, but
we'll
we're
get to
gonna
that in a sec.
Yeah.
Well,
Yeah.
there's more to it. Him and I talked about it, and we were. That's when we were like, whoa, whoa, whoa.
Okay, yeah, okay.
So we'll
wrap-
talk about it
after
later.
we're done with the questions. We'll wrap back around to that.
I had the planet they were on selfie? I don't know.
Scarif?
Selfie.
Scarif.
Selfie.
Scarif.
There's a stormtrooper
that's
picture
what
for
that
you.
big tower was. That was the arm with the camera.
Yeah, exactly.
Scarif had a shield. Why didn't fucking Alderaan have a shield? You know, just kind of made sense.
Shit, the planet in Spaceballs had
But-
a shield. Why didn't?
Right,
What?
no shit.
Because the theory is that Alderaan's a peaceful planet.
And this
They didn't
one,
have any-
this made me a little bit more nuts, even more. Jar Jar didn't make me as nuts as much as this, where even C-3PO, he has awareness of like he could be destroyed, kind of like Johnny 5, but this robot seemed way too human versus all of the other ones, and that kind of threw me off. It's like, I get C-3PO because he was programmed by Skywalker or whatever,
As a
built by
kid,
yeah. You know, he's got kind of awareness like I don't want to be destroyed, but this one has like humor, and AI doesn't really have general humor or awareness of any of that. It seemed more technology than even what
They spelled it
Earl's
out.
waiting for this one.
They spelled it out right there at
Yeah,
the
they did.
beginning when he introduced himself.
Yeah.
It's a glitch of his reprogramming. I know it's a cop out.
It's
it is
Not
a cop out.
It's like a Terminator crossover. You know?
Well, that was the great
It
thing
just-
about Terminator. The more human he got in Judgment Day, the better the character got.
I don't know.
Checkmate.
It drove me nuts.
You got
Well, let's take
checkmate.
into account who played him. Alan Tudyk played him.
Alright,
and Alan
okay.
Tudyk is a natural comedian. And I'd forgotten he played the robot in iRobot.
Yeah.
I totally spaced it.
Oh yeah.
Yeah,
He did, didn't he?
He did, and he's become like the new Andy Serkis, the king of stop motion, or rather motion capture. Stop motion. Let's bring that back. The king of motion capture, and he's been doing that quite a bit lately. Of course, not to go off on a side tangent, but he was hilarious in Moana, by the way, as the chicken. But I digress. That threw me off a little bit too, because for me it was more about the technology.
And that's what I'm saying. Is like
Yeah.
the technology wouldn't have been there. Like it was like a Ghost in the Shell type thing.
They should have made him a little more clunky, I
Yeah.
think. A little less smooth. He didn't move very well.
He's the first one I've actually liked. The
Yeah.
Jar Jar
His
Binks
personality's great.
couldn't stand him. C-3PO I could tolerate. This one I enjoyed. He's dead.
Well, isn't it just me, or did they take like the best parts of C-3PO and R2-D2 and made him a badass at the same time?
Yeah.
It was just
Yeah.
his
And his
he was
design is
fun.
great.
I definitely enjoyed him. I thought he was
Yeah,
Yeah.
I liked him. I'm so angry at you right
And
now.
plus, it's an interesting thing to see the droid sacrifice himself. That was you guys brought this up earlier.
Yeah.
How great this is just a one shot, because they can kill anybody they want. In fact, even most of the characters in the battle were superfluous, except for the cameos of like Gold
Vader.
One and all that stuff.
But
Vader
that's
Mark
that's
and,
but that goes back to my point. That's not a technology computerized thing. That is a human emotion. That's a human type. You know, where
Well,
where
C-3PO had human emotions.
Yeah.
he no, I wouldn't say emotions. I would say awareness. He knew to be fearful if he was going to be disassembled. Like number 5, you know, no disassemble number 5. He had awareness of what was going on, and like, why are we in this?
frustration with R2D2 on a regular basis? Like that's a human emotion.
Uh-oh.
Wait.
R2, you
Uh-oh.
son of a bitch. You know what I mean? How many times has he done that throughout the?
Well, I mean, how many times
Nobody
you said, you son
tells
of a
me
bitch to your
anything.
fucking own computer right now these days? God
Here's the
damn
thing
it.
about this movie that I
Yeah.
loved. Here's the
Right.
thing about this movie that I loved. You knew everybody you were really getting into was going to be gone, period.
Well, yeah.
That's
And that
weird.
was a moment of, oh, man. Like, I really like this robot. Or I'd like to see them go somewhere with that woman who
Hand a blind dude a
Jenner, so,
lightsaber,
or-
please.
But you...
Right.
Like, hand him a lightsaber.
The realization that it was happening was when they threw that grenade in that ship and blew up the spy pilot.
Yeah,
That's when
right.
you're like, and now
Anybody can go.
everybody.
Yeah.
You're just-
Starship
it's-
Trooper style.
Yeah.
So
Which, you know, with the blind guy, you know, he gets shot, then all the fucking stormtroopers just leave, and then his protector dude just walks out like and just hugs him like there was like 1,000 stormtroopers like 30 seconds ago, but
No, there
that's
was
like
only 5
whatever.
troopers in the ditch.
he plays Ike
And they were the
Hitman.
white stormtroopers, so they couldn't hit shit.
Right.
He's the guy who
Those were
plays
the black
Ip Man,
ones
right?
shooting at them.
Yeah,
Um,
He's
Donnie
Ip
Yen,
makes it
Donnie
even
Yen,
dumber.
And
yeah.
I didn't realize he spoke that good English, because when I
Donnie Yen?
watch
Donnie
him,
Yen, yeah.
but when I watch him in Ip Man, he's just down that road, and I'm so into that whole. Then he's speaking like really good English. I'm like,
You know
Oh,
what?
man.
If you watch like Shanghai Nights, which I think was the sequel.
yeah,
to
I've seen Shanghai
Yeah,
Nights.
yeah.
He's
Oh, is he in that?
Yeah, he's the villain in that that fights Jackie.
You were right. I like that guy. He's a good.
Oh, Donnie Yen
really
is
good.
probably the most premier martial artist.
But he's so
Right now,
under until Ip Man.
Yeah.
I hadn't really.
Now, on that note, though, they kept insisting there was no Jedi in this, except, of course, for Vader. But is it just me? Because, as we know, being fans of the expanded universe and even the new expanded universe, you don't have to be a Jedi to be Force sensitive.
There were
And-
Force-sensitive individuals in the
Exactly,
movie.
and I kind of got the impression it was almost like, is he doing the whole Eastern
Buddhist
Zen,
temple
Buddhist, Shaolin monk kind of thing, the whole Buddhisho, like mispronouncing that, Shinto or something, or is he actually sensitive? Is he actually Force sensitive? And that was an interesting, because they never really explain it. And I thought
So
that was
you
really
have
cool.
to remember what in what context that he was.
Mhm.
So apparently, the way they're making this sound, the planet of Jeddah was a holy planet to the Jedi at some point, and they referenced it quite a bit in visual imagery in the very beginning of the movie.
The big statue in the sand with the
Right.
lightsaber, yeah.
and the Kyber crystals, which we all know are the same crystals.
Not
that,
everybody may know that.
Okay,
Oh,
so the
it's not
Kyber
the
crystals
same, yes.
are
Yeah.
what
Jedi use to power
Jedi use to
both
power
their
the lightsabers.
and they would make their own.
Okay, so these were some individuals were the temple guardians of those Kyber crystals.
Mhm.
That's what these individuals were. So it was almost a religious,
Almost like acolytes.
yeah.
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 So they were Force sensitive, or maybe Force sensitive, maybe some more than others. but it was also a religious movement. And the city of Jeddah was almost like Jerusalem.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
It was a mecca of people who paid homage.
In fact,
or
the mountain was a
believed.
lot like the wall. Actually, it was kind of I saw that too.
So
Well, and that goes to like Forrest Whitaker. You said that he was trained by or started training with Anakin Skywalker, so he's not a full-fledged Jedi. But
Well, he wasn't training
He's
as
never
a
a
Jedi. He was
Jedi.
training as a commando. It was like he was a soldier, and Anakin was there training him how to be a soldier.
because you got to remember in the Clone Wars.
But I mean, even with blind ninja guy, that's faith based. Who knows? He might have been one of the younglings that got away from Anakin.
That's an interesting
And
thought.
there's faith
Like
based.
Caleb Doom.
Yeah, there's faith based. He was just too young. He just got introduced to it. But
Too
he-
young
Maybe they
or
hadn't
too
found
old.
it. They hadn't
He's
found
too
him
old.
yet.
That
But yeah,
characteristics
but he
are too
wasn't
old.
trained. Like, hey, take my son. Like, okay, and then like a day later, he's like, everybody else is dead, but I still have faith.
Well, I think that the fact they left it open like that is for a reason. So
Yeah.
we would debate about it. Is he force sensitive or is he
But
not?
also, have you ever seen a Jedi chant that? They don't need to. Right?
And that's where the
Well,
whole
if you have the
faith
proper-
based.
Yeah, that's just it. That's his training. That's the way
That's
he
his
figured out how to
focus.
channel it.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's what a
I
mantra
think
is.
I think the focus of this movie is there was more to this universe than just the Jedi
Right.
Yeah, exactly.
and the Sith.
And
Exactly.
But
my-
yet they still believe in the Force as a belief. Like there are
They
people who
treated it
believe
more like a religion than have before.
faith.
Yeah.
there's faith in the universe.
Yeah.
And what better of a catalyst than Donnie Yen?
Sure.
Yeah, no shit.
Right. And my last comment was I like that there was an Office Space kind of transmission towards the end, like load, go. Like is he coming? Like looking up for the boss. That's
PC load limit.
Yeah, let's
The fuck is that
let's be
mean?
clear. We can jump into hyperspace. We have to wait for a file to download.
That's
Yeah.
right. The little hourglass
The ship
doing
can
this.
just appear here.
That's awesome.
With rap music playing in the background. Yeah, it's good to be a gang.
Well, did anybody notice the Back to the Future reference?
No. What was that?
I may
So-
have. I think. I
So
know.
Bodhi, the Imperial pilot, as
Yeah.
he's running around trying to plug into the
Did he make a gigawatt joke?
well, it wasn't a gigawatt joke. It was his motions of trying all the wires getting
Oh,
crossed
getting
over.
caught up like Doc Brown?
Yes.
Well, okay, I'll give you that.
Well, and the device that he put in was
Yeah.
just like,
Yeah.
the pointy,
It's very
Like-
similar.
very similar to
Large
Back to the
plug.
Future, yes.
I loved the technology because it felt like the scenes with Harrison Ford in the prison section of the Death Star. They have the same communication device. All the computers and all the machines looked exactly like they did in New Hope. I thought that was really
Well,
cool.
they even did the Han Solo scene is like, put a bomb over here to lure out the stormtroopers. Wait, I saw that in what was it?
No.
What was it? The Ewok movie. Yeah.
Yes, that was there too. But they also made the joke at the communicator when he's like, "Yeah, the rebels went that way. K2, are you there? Yeah, there they are."
Yeah.
That was
Yeah.
great.
Like that one.
Like that one, yeah.
No, I like the scene where you see the at coming through the mist, the smoke.
That was pretty badass.
Just a second of it,
That's
then
a
it covers
Jurassic
up,
Park
and then
right there.
that was
Yeah.
I think it was him. I think he made the comment when it happened, like oop, and I love that part.
Those are probably the coolest Star Wars
Things.
like
Machines,
machines or
yeah.
Empire machines.
I'm
You know,
curious,
I would have
what-
said that till I saw the Star Destroyers in this movie.
Oh,
The
and
Star Destroyers looked beautiful. They were
I've
amazing.
never
Have you
seen
seen
a Star
Colin
Destroyer
Firth?
Huh?
really
Have you
light
Colin
shit up.
Firth's?
Like
Yeah.
I love the scale.
And he built an AT-AT in his backyard.
Oh no.
Wow.
I did.
Speaking of that, like, okay, so they had ion bombs to like disable a
Star Destroyer.
in this movie. And
Yeah.
I hate when they introduced new technology because they didn't have that technology in A New Hope.
Well,
And that kind of like threw me off. I was like, but
they did, but you got to remember in A New Hope, Y-wings never went against the Star Destroyer. They went against the Death Star, which is a different creature altogether.
Yeah.
The Y-wings have always been described in literature as bombers. That's what they are.
Right.
Right.
Bombers.
And I love the scale when you see the Death Star, and then the Imperial or the Death Star, and then the coming out of the shadow.
oh,
I
you
just wanna
talking
see
when
if
the
we have
TIE
any
fighter
comments
goes into
going
the Star Destroyer coming out and then the
Yeah,
Death Star behind
Star
it.
Destroyer,
Yeah,
Death
the-
Star.
and the light of the sun finally.
And I
hitting
love
them.
that they had all those Star Destroyers.
Dude, yeah.
I love that they have all those around it.
Yes, Beth, we'll all see it a second time.
Some-
yes, when it comes on HBO.
I will go to see it in 3D, I promise.
I'll
Some of us
probably
have.
see it 2 or 3
These
times.
two have all seen it a second. These two have seen it a second time already. Sorry, it was a question she asked online. Anyway, where were we?
I was just.
I think we hit the questions now, so let's kind of go around, and we kind of figured out the scale of where we would place it in the 8 films now. But now there's 8 of them. Let's go ahead and we'll go around just easy. Stan, in all 8 films that are out now, where would you place Rogue One?
My favorite. I think this is
That's tall order.
the best Star Wars I've seen, just from the sense of the capabilities that we have now from filming, right, and making a movie not cheesy. Because when I go back and watch the old ones, let's be honest, they're fairly cheesy just based on technology. It was gritty, it was dark, and that goes into my George Lucas, like, it's not a honky-dory story, man. Like let's show this thing the way it needs to be, and people die, and I really enjoyed it. I thought it had a good suspense to it, even though we knew what was coming. I just think it was the best of all of them.
All right, Stan gives it a number 1 out of 8. Earl? You hear the wheels turning.
He's trying to see how much beer's left in that bottle.
Fuck up.
And like the sands of Scarif, these are the hours of our lives.
So me and Rob were talking about initially when we were driving to the movie. Nothing's ever gonna knock Empire off the number 1 for me. Plot device, what it was, and maybe I'm a very traditionalist, so I'm making this one number 4. I will put this under the 3. So Empire, New Hope, Return, this particular movie. Just plot line and what I liked.
I think it would fall a lot in for a lot of folks, actually.
But I truly enjoyed this movie. Do not get me wrong. So,
Mick?
2 or 3.
Tied for 2 or 3. What's it tied with?
A New Hope, as far as
Okay.
that's kind of the launching pad for everything else. And you're complaining, that it's showing, New Hope is showing its legs. It's a 40-year-old movie. It was pretty
No, I get it.
groundbreaking.
Shut up, man. I don't want to think about that.
I get it.
I started to drive it
You're
in
right,
Denver
you're right.
when I was like 6 years old. So yeah.
Same here.
Yeah, very long time ago. So, but it set the groundwork. I like the tone that Lucas set as far as it was a hopeful story, moving things forward. I appreciate that. So,
this is the way we should see Star Wars movies.
right.
Okay, yeah, I'll give you that.
But I also very much like the way this was a very much more adult theme, and the plot devices were a little more adult oriented. You did have the K2SO or whatever. The robot thing was.
K2SO.
You had that little interjection as kind of the humor thrown in there as well, because he was definitely a humor device.
There really weren't any others either. No.
You had little bits of catty comments back and forth with Jyn Erso, but pretty minimal.
Yeah.
And so I don't know. I liked it though.
All right. Jeff?
I have to agree with moving it up to number 1, which makes New Hope number 2 now, because to me it makes it an extended edition of that New Hope. It
In a better way than Lucas did it years ago.
Well, and we want to talk about Lucas here in a little bit, but let's stick with me.
Right? Speak up so they can hear you.
How dare you?
You're wearing this hood. You're like the Sith Lord.
And I'm okay with that. The drunk Lord.
Yeah, look at you. Look at you. That's you.
Or with the way,
that's you.
or the way with the world is today. I'm a cis Lord. Anybody know what a cis is?
Well, you have a have a pink microphone and you call yourself Papa B.
Thank you.
Yeah.
So, no, I loved it because here's another thing. When we were talking about that transport, when they broke her out of that transport, those troopers weren't all glorified, good looking. They were gritted. They were dirty. I love that look. It made me feel like not washing my uniform every week, and maybe once every 2 years. That's how I feel. All right, I love that look. I think it added to New Hope. That's the fact.
Who also have that look on Tatooine a little bit.
A little bit, but not like you could see it like this. I mean, and even in
Force Awakens.
You see it, but it just adds to it because this movie made me feel like these are not polished up stuff that you see all the time. It's just true people. You guys even made the comment. They just looked, oh shit, another transport. What's going on?
There was dirt on a stormtrooper.
There was dirt on a yeah. Yeah. If I don't shave every 2 days, I get my ass handed to me. These guys are wearing dirt on their uniforms, and I loved it. I thought, and I also agree with you. I think that Jedi is one of my favorites, but it moved down to 3 because of this movie for New Hope. I loved it. I thought this movie was killed it, and I knew what was going to happen, and it irritated me that everybody was going to die because I really liked everybody. It's not like watching Game of Thrones where every season someone you like is going to die. This was everybody I liked died. Right. And that was that.
But you knew that walking in.
I did know that, but that's my point. It still happened.
They cast it up on it. You know,
well, here's why I did.
Guys.
Here's why I did, because in
some decent characters in there.
Was it New Hope or Jedi? He specifically said a lot of people died to get us this.
Well, don't confuse the two.
Well, we made that point. It's in Jedi. It's not in, but the same principle applies.
I just said that.
Yeah.
It's in there, but they made that point.
Right.
A lot of people died to get us these plans. So that's why I think that it moved New Hope into another category for me, because I was hands down like you. It was Jedi in the same order, but with this movie coming out, it moved New Hope, because I could go watch New Hope, or they could have ran it right after this film, and I'd have felt like it was just seamlessly going
that
through.
was the point.
And I agree. That's why I'm saying this one moved up to number 1. So go ahead and say it, Giants fan.
What?
Go ahead and say it. I'm the man.
Really? Because neither one of you are in the playoffs for our league. So.
You know what? Hey,
right,
this was how dare you? This was a bad year. This was a bad year.
No fantasy football.
My people,
right.
My people weren't answering their texts.
Was that a jump?
Trina, this might be a little weird for you since you're not really a fan of the series itself, but have you seen them all? You've seen all the movies?
No.
Okay, how many have you seen?
2.
This one and Force
New
Awakens?
Hope, yep.
No,
You've
New
seen
Hope.
The original.
Oh, okay. So let's
New
give
Hope.
this.
So
New
episode
Hope,
4.
yeah.
So
So for me, New Hope is my favorite because
Okay.
that's what I know. And like this movie was more confusing to me.
This should have clarified New Hope a lot more.
Maybe.
but you haven't studied it like we have.
Right, and
Yeah.
to
So-
me it was kind of a little confusing because I was like, well, who's that? Who's that guy? Like,
Okay.
Did you have more
I
questions?
There was absolutely no.
Yes,
just like,
yes, you have.
Watch the nerds
That
lose
makes-
their mind.
does that make sense?
I'm about
though?
ready to
Is it
walk
like-
outside.
Your
and-
point with that.
No, I
Yeah.
agree.
I
I
was-
enjoy what she's. Yeah,
Yeah.
go ahead.
You know what I'm saying,
Yeah,
though? Like-
no.
Because she
No,
has
like the
I
guy
know what
the guy that dies helping the blind guy. I'm like, who's that? Like,
He's not anybody. He's new.
Yeah.
We had no idea. Who he was.
Everybody in this
Okay.
movie,
He's the
for the
blind
most
guy's
part,
buddy,
was.
and
right.
Yeah.
Except
there
They
was-
only backdropped the
Yeah.
Orsos, right?
Huh?
Not even
and
that.
Gale.
Or
Sorry, Bale.
Bail Organa would be Bail
Organa,
Mon Mothma.
Organa.
You
Yeah.
really don't start seeing
And
New Hope
Jan
until the
O'Donnell's
end of
in
this
there, too.
movie.
You see
Right.
Jan
And
I
O'Donnell?
loved it.
But
The
they
young
didn't
guy,
backdrop
white hair.
anyone.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
So there's
Other
nobody in
than
this movie that
the
is
guy
that makes it
No,
to
you're
New
No
Hope.
main character, no.
No, a lot
Oh,
of.
no, that's not true. I mean,
Darth Vader.
You got Darth Vader. You got the general.
Tarkin.
Tarkin, yeah.
Well, okay. But they're still
Tarkin
not
is
main
the
characters.
Tarkin's
No.
the only one throughout the entire movie that you see. Also, New Hope. Everybody else you start seeing towards the midway end
Yeah.
of this, so it makes sense that it's flowing towards New Hope, because
Yeah.
you got this, then it starts filtering into what you see in New Hope.
Yeah.
And like I was saying to Earl on the way down there, I'm hoping this does it way better than Prometheus did. Said,
Oh.
and it does.
So basically what they did is they took,
Right,
if
okay.
you ever watch A New Hope, there is a in the scroll, which we'll get to in a sec, why there's not, but in the scroll, in the very first sentence, it says rebel spies acquired plans.
Right.
That snippet made this particular movie.
Okay.
Yeah.
How did they get the plans?
Is that one gap?
Who got the
As
plans?
kids, we were all like, what's that story?
Yeah.
Okay.
Which is why it reminded me of Prometheus, because what did we do in Alien? We go, what's that thing's story? The
Right.
space jockey. We
Yeah.
all wondered what the story was. And then he did the story, he fucked it up.
Yeah, he did.
But they did a much better job with that one. So, you like New Hope. Jay, you've seen them all. I know you have.
I would say 6.
6.
The only
You just throwing a fucking random number.
No.
I
Justify
want to
it.
know. I want to hear
Justify
this.
this.
so
I don't think I do.
That
so
includes one of the prequels then.
so
Oh, dear God.
So number 8 would be The Force Awakens.
Yes.
Yeah.
To me.
Number 7.
7.
Well, there's 8 movies.
Oh, yeah.
There's eight movies. The last one would be The Force Awakens.
So the
'cause-
worst one for him is Force Awakens.
Yeah.
You're on crack.
I know.
Hold on.
No, hold on. I'm going to agree with Earl on this.
No. I want to hear this.
Let him finish, and then you can tell me if I'm correct.
So The Force Awakens kind of drives me nuts because it kind of was a cop out for a lot of shit. You know, they could have done anything with after, you know, Return of the Jedi. They could have done anything with that storyline. They could have done anything with Han Solo. They could have done anything with Princess Leia. They could have done anything. And I think that you know, Darth Vader's son or grandson or whatever turning out to be whoever he is, it seemed like when you had that reaction of you had no idea Han Solo was going to die.
I'm there with you.
Yeah, you're there. I'm like, how the fuck did you not know that? I knew that 2 years before the movie even came out. Like, Han Solo's in it, he's going to fucking die because he has no role afterwards. It was just, everything was so predictable.
Once again, Harrison Ford is superfluous to the story.
Right. But everything was so predictable about that story that it just made it disinteresting.
Yes and no,
And
whatever rebuttal to that.
I'm just using the word disinteresting.
This is like a political thing.
Not that it wasn't done well or the story wasn't done well. It was just disinteresting because it was so predictable. The only other one was the one with little Anakin Skywalker.
Phantom Menace,
which we should never talk about.
Phantom Menace, because
I like the pod race. I do like the pod race.
because that kid like deciding all of this and being a hero or whatever, that's ridiculous on a little, what was it, like 8, 9, 7, you know, whatever. Like him just running around and deciding all this stuff. I loved to be a hero when I was 7, but I don't think I would have been in that position being 7. I don't think anybody in the. I think even you, Jeff, would have been would have paused and looked around and said, "Fuck this! I'm just gonna hide in the corner." You know, like whatever, a few times. The point is those two are the only ones. This one being before A New Hope and all that is you don't need that story for the rest of it. What was the two after Phantom Menace?
Attack of the Clones and Revenge of the Sith.
Those were great for the story, and I already said my piece about Anakin Skywalker
right.
and Hayden Christensen and how you could see the development of him into Darth Vader. I think one of the things about this was the Darth Vader scene is that he's still in the lava planet. You know, he's getting healed and all that, but he still walked out and he had a different attitude. He wasn't the Anakin Skywalker, and he wasn't the Darth Vader that I knew. He wasn't the in-between that was there. And that made even those little short little snippets that he had in the entire character, it wasn't there. And though he landed on the ship and he killed every motherfucker on there, he looked at that other ship and he let it go. That's not the Darth Vader that I knew. He let the ship with the plans go. He didn't send anybody after it.
Ship.
He did. He let it go. He didn't go after that ship. He didn't send.
He was standing on a launch bay.
He's standing on a launch bay.
What's the first 30 seconds of A New Hope? It is him going after
that ship.
Which, you know what's kind of an interesting point? Kind of an interesting point is Anakin Skywalker.
Better let Jay finish, he's gonna explode. Go ahead, Stan.
Anakin Skywalker never let shit get away. He'd have been fucking jumping on some shit, landing on there, hopping in a ship, getting in there. And it was only when he went to the dark side did Vader start letting shit slip.
But you gotta remember,
Vader consistently loses the bad guys.
He's also crippled, though.
Correct.
He's also crippled. I mean, he really is. He's a part cyborg. There's no way he's at full strength.
He's a Jedi, man. He's a Jedi.
Okay, so this is my only negative flaw to this particular movie. Okay. With Rogue One is
he's leaning in.
Yeah, this is impressive. Go ahead. We're all paying attention.
Comments.
Oh God! Oh, shut up.
All right, Earl, go ahead. There's no comments.
Nobody's
This is
watching
Beth.
right now.
All right.
Nobody's watching anymore. Just Beth.
Ever.
Hi, Beth.
So my only critique to this particular movie as a negative side is Darth Vader's all spry and badassy in the very end of this movie. He's kicking some fucking major ass.
I loved it.
Which is great. Don't get me wrong.
Okay.
But in The New Hope, he's more clunky. He's more sedate. Not Mr. Badassy. I mean, he just fucking kicks some ass. He wants those fucking plans.
You know why that is, though? I think that's a flaw of the filming and the fact that...
Granted.
They didn't get a martial artist to play him. They got a big tall
guy. They got Peter Press, yeah.
To come in and try to wield a sword, but had they gone the route of getting a combatant or even a swordsman.
Which they did in Jedi. They replaced him with a swordsman.
Even in Jedi, dude, you watch that fight scene between him and Mark Hamill, dude. Like,
I might be wrong in this, but the only thing he really did at the end of this movie was move his hands a little quicker. He was still very upright.
And
he was still slamming people up to the ceiling, slicing them as he goes
I love
by.
that. He holds the dude to the ceiling, walks past him, and goes, "Oh yeah."
Yeah, slices them.
You know what I saw though that
So
I've never
that's
seen
the
Vader
only-
do before is whip the goddamn lightsaber.
That's my point. Yeah, and I agree with you on that.
He's always just been very
There was-
samurai, you know.
Yeah, you're right. No, and I agree with you on that because the only thing different between that Darth Vader and this one is his hands move quicker,
let's
and that's it.
Let's,
and I agree with
Let's
you.
not
You go
look
to
at it
Revenge
from a
of the
point
Sith.
of 40 years later.
right.
Let's look at it from.
Comparing apples and oranges.
Let's look at it from the continuity of Darth Vader's character.
But
Let Jay finish- let's let him finish his
that's the
thing.
whole thing is I think that there is a lot more holes in this because they, even though you guys may not agree, but they did use the Death Star on, what was the planet's name?
Scarif?
Scarif. They used the Death Star on there. They destroyed everybody on that planet with the Death Star.
Oh, no.
And their first
Conversation again.
Yeah.
their first usage
Let it go.
in A New Hope was Alderaan, and that creates a whole lot of holes. Is like, all right, he let the plans escape. He let them escape. Anakin would have never have done that shit.
That's probably true.
They destroyed the planet on, the planet of what the fuck is
Apes.
Scary.
right?
Planet of the Apes.
Scarif. Right.
Planet of the Apes.
And
that was
that-
the previews.
That creates a whole lot of plot lines within the timeline of the story. Where when my first questions was is where does this fall in the plot line? Is it a week before New Hope? Is it 5 years?
Like 24
Is it?
hours.
It's the hour.
hyperdrive.
But
I agree.
but it can't be 24 hours because they still have to go find Luke Skywalker. Skywalker still has to go.
No.
How dare you, sir? How dare you, sir?
How you just did.
Parallel plot line.
I'm about to take my hoodie off.
Jesus Christ! He did it to us again.
Hold on. You're confusing a planet being blown up. Nowhere in this movie
And
did they
nobody's
say
watching.
that they were going
Yeah, no
full
shit.
force on it. They kept consistently saying they were going one
tactical
cell.
stri- they were
They were
tactical
going
striking,
not
right.
burst. They were going semi on this
Not
thing.
not
okay?
when it came to that planet. He said, and I wrote it down.
You wrote it
Fire
down?
when ready.
Yes.
When?
What's that got to do with anything?
Fire when ready, but he also said target the base of the tower.
Yes.
Yeah.
Right.
Because he
Yeah.
wanted to destroy the plans.
Target
so
the
they didn't
base.
Get into.
That's
Why
what
don't we have a
Tarkin
gavel
said.
so I can
Yeah,
start?
right.
Yeah.
And that's why it hit the fucking top of that thing.
Okay. First
No,
off,
mind you, it destroyed a shit ton more than just
Correct.
that little town, but not the whole
The entire
planet. Thank you.
Now,
they might
the
have taken
whole
out-
would be, is the planet habitable after a fucking
Correct.
cataclysmic event like that? Because probably not.
okay,
I mean,
you guys, you are the nerds he's looking for, by the way. He just played us.
right.
He totally
As
did
he
that on
always
purpose.
does.
You're lucky I'm drinking Coke Zero.
He wanted that whole
He
reaction.
was waiting for that
See
entire
the Death Star
time.
in my cup right here? That's what happens.
Are you done?
I'm done.
Did you go 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1?
He did.
What's
I
your
did.
number one?
I did.
What is your number one?
My number one would still be A New Hope. Or yeah, A New Hope.
Okay.
I would actually go 1 to 5, 6.
Okay. All right. I'll see that.
I'm trying to think of the order.
8, 6,
1,
4,
2.
3, 9,
I'm
4.
sorry.
1, 2.
A New Hope would be number 1.
Okay.
Empire would
Empire
be
two.
I was
would
doing
be
a song joke. 8, 6, 7, 4, 3, 9.
yeah. I actually caught that.
I got her number on the wall. Okay.
Okay.
All right. Are we done? Does
Would
everybody
be a
give it?
good breaking point.
I think it probably would be.
Everybody's gotta like calm themselves from what I just
I
said.
will say one thing.
All four of you were like, ah!
He did it on purpose. He did it
He
to us
did.
again. He did the
He did.
Jedi mind trick on us. I'll say for me, this is number 5.
Really?
Yeah. I would, and then I'll say this. This movie is great. I like it like I like Fifth Element. I like it like I like Aliens. I like it like I like movies like that. On its own, by itself, it's a great standalone. The fact that characters can be dead, great, awesome. The fact that it fits into the universe, great. But it lacked a certain amount of emotional connection for me. I gotta have Jedi. I gotta have John Williams. I gotta have certain things in my Star Wars to make me go, you know. And Force Awakens, I think, had that a little bit more than this did. That being said, the first three, and this is dogmatic for me, New Hope, Empire, Jedi will always be the top three no matter what. There's no way anything can topple it.
Yeah.
Not a chance. Until they come up with fucking holodeck Star Wars, there's no, and that will just be the remakes of those. So there's no way that anything can top those ones. In terms of the prequels, they're at the bottom and they will always be at the bottom. I can't imagine a Star Wars film being as bad as those are. But that being said, they're still Star Wars films. I still love them. But if I had to choose, so basically it's down between, do I like Rogue One or Force Awakens better? I like Force Awakens just a little bit better. Because it has the emotional connection for me, as well as the great effects and the great fight scenes, or at least starship fight scenes that this had. And I'll agree, this had some better fight scenes in it in terms of spaceships, and definitely.
Oh, those were awesome.
Definitely in terms of ground combat.
Yeah.
But it did lack an emotional trigger for me. I need lightsabers. I gotta have the Force. And that gets into the Kyber crystal thing. I'll just, before we break, and this is where we're gonna stop it, and then we'll go back to our normal format, and we'll just do our thing and whatever. But as far as the Kyber crystals, I've read all the books actually, the new universe books that all come out. I've read every single one of them, including the Carrie Fisher book, which is really good, by the way, the Princess Diaries, which is hilarious. But that makes watching Star Wars a whole new story, I'll tell you that. But the Kyber crystals that power the lightsabers in Catalyst, the prequel book to Rogue One, it explains a lot more of what those are. In Ahsoka, the book, it explains that, like you said, they make kyber crystals on their own, and that's the old universe. They don't do that anymore. Kyber crystals are grown in these temples, kind of like what Jedi was, and they come out clear. You notice when she picked that one up around her neck, it was clear. They all come out clear until the Jedi makes them into a color, and those colors usually happen to be blue or green, and then the red ones are actually corrupted crystals that are stolen. This is established in that Ahsoka book. That are stolen by Sith or by Inquisitors or whoever, and then they corrupt them. That's why Ahsoka has clear ones in Rebels. Because she has not adjusted her, she's not changed them into a color to match the Jedi. So the other thing they mentioned in Catalyst that was a couple things actually. First off, why they were stealing little kyber crystals, I have no idea, because in Catalyst they established that they've got these gigantic ones that they're using to make the laser. Also, the whole relationship between Krennic and Orson, or the dad, is way more established in the book. It's been going on for years.
Who's Krennic and Orson?
Director Krennic's the guy in the white.
Okay.
Orson was the dad.
Orson was the dad.
Got it.
They had this. They were friends for years. They basically went to college together, and they've been known each other forever.
A smidgen.
A smidgen.
He was pissed off when he found out, right? Like,
he also Krennic hated his wife, hated that guy's wife. So him getting her shot was kind of poignant. Right. And reading that book actually made that final confrontation between Krennic and Jen a bit more pronounced, a bit for me. That book isn't particularly great, but now that I've watched the movie and read that book is better. I like it now better that I've watched the movie.
You killed my father. Prepare to die.
Yeah. Agreed.
Sorry.
My name is Jyn Orso.
Sorry, just popped in my head.
My father.
Prepare to die.
Prepare to suck
A
my
lot
exhaust.
of homages.
So that's my gist on the whole thing. I loved it by itself as its own thing, as it's meant to be, but it does not hold the same emotional resonance that most of the epic Star Wars movies hold for me. So that being said, I think we're all done with the live. We'll turn it off. It's a nice place to break. Not that anybody's watching us, but we'll post this later. I'll keep recording on video for later for the other one. And we're out.
All right.